The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. The regular news can be a steady stream of negativity.
Mischievous and deceitful, chicanerous and deplorable.
But we like to see the brighter side of things. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
Prepare yourself. The first presidential debate is tonight, and if you're like me, the thought doesn't bring you any joy.
Oh, Betty Rock's going to get political now. I love it.
Well, this, though, does. This brings me joy. There's a poll online asking people to vote between Biden and Trump on random funny things. And maybe you'll get a kick out of it like I did after you hear some of the crazy things. Okay, so the first one. Who do you think would win in a bake-off?
A bake-off? I've got to go Biden. I don't think Trump has ever cooked anything in his life.
Yeah. Biden came in on the lead on that one.
Yeah, and it'd be a rhubarb pie. You know, back in my day,
Nope, stop.
used to have rhubarb. I worked as a rhubarb farmer.
Corn Pop was there. Another one. Who would be able to survive longer on a deserted island?
Oh, Trump.
He's more ruthless.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Trump came out in the lead. Who do you think would be a better house guest?
Probably Biden.
Yeah, I think Trump would get judgy and mean.
Yeah,
Biden might take a nap.
Yeah, he'd sleep a lot. Yeah, I think Trump would be very opinionated about your house and maybe not as grateful. I think Joe would be like, "Hey, where are we?"
You're right. He won that one. Who would be more likely to remember your birthday?
I think
Trump.
Oh, really?
Because Biden's older. His memory's going to get worse.
I was going to say, because I was going to say Biden, would be more likely to remember your birthday because he does seem like more about the personal stuff. Trump is about getting the job done. He would have an assistant that would remind him to remind you about your birthday.
So then who are you going with?
I'm still going to go Biden on that.
Trump actually won that one.
No way!
Yeah.
That really surprised me.
And then finally, who do you think would win at arm wrestling?
Oh, Trump.
Trump won above and beyond.
1,000,000% Trump would win that one. Well, we're going to have some verbal arm wrestling tonight. I honestly, I can't wait because the debate has a new format where they're going to mute the mics of the person that's not speaking. That will be... It's a great idea because it will keep it from being less chaotic.
Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't done it until now.
Exactly. I think it's a great idea. Now, this is my point about it, is that the only question that is going to be answered will be the first question to the first person because they will ask him the question. He will say things. The other person will be chomping at the bit to discredit everything he said. So then when it's that person's turn, they'll be like, okay, now your question. You're like, no, I need to go back and answer all of that, address all of that.
Yeah.
And then he's never going to get to his next question.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be a debate debacle, but one that I'm ready for.
Let's stick with the bake-offs, the arm wrestling, and the deserted islands.
Maybe that's how we should decide our presidency is through some of those events.
I think so.
Betty Rock is the audio ninja here on The Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM. Her job is to archive the show, all the fantastic things that happen all the time.
And Wally says a lot of things before filtering them. Honestly, I say filtering lightly. I don't think he has a filter anymore. Typically, a normal person, before something is uttered from their mouth, they will think it through. It'll go through a filter and they'll say, is this appropriate?
Yeah.
Should I say this? Could this be taken out of context?
You know,
and I think you're missing that.
In your fridge, when you need the water filter changed, there's that light that says change my filter. It's always on for me on my personality.
And you're like, what do you know?
I'll get it later. So, same thing.
So, in essence, here's how Betty hears the show really is. It's taking those things that got left through the filter and we're playing them all together.
Our pastor asked a very poignant but simple question. He said, do we complain more than we're thankful? And my wife almost snapped her neck looking at me like, I'm like, what? I spelled valedictorian wrong, not once but twice. Open that freezer. Open it now. This is why you asked and I delivered, unlike the Bugles.
So maybe you should stop praying for God to take away my friendship, because honestly, it's starting to hurt me.
Yeah, you know what? He has blessed me with that for 17 years and still keeps blessing me every day. Just bless you, bless you, bless you. My butt called my brain and was like, hey, real quick, if it's not too much trouble, can we look at getting a new car? I don't take correction well. So according to that scripture, I'm stupid.
Well, we knew that.
Right, exactly. He's getting engaged for the 6th. Did I say that right? 6th?
No.
There you go.
6th time.
Wow.
That spit over everything. This lady made me almost cry. People saw my rear end cheeks as I was running. Like, that was the only cheek that got turned. It was a 180 and I was going. Okay, so we did get something scriptural in there, turning the other cheek. So I think that's what we're going to have to focus
But
on.
also, too, some of those were taken from our aftercast. Maybe that's something you didn't even know that we do. But we do an aftercast after the show, and it's where Wally is a bit more free,
Yeah.
a bit more open with his thoughts and feelings. And so if you want to check that out, just text TWS, which stand for The Wally Show. So those letters, TWS, to 91979, and we will send you a link.
It's tough to make decisions sometimes, and we make important decisions about music every day here on The Wally Show on Way FM. And we need your help with this, okay? So we are doing Snap Judgment. We have a couple songs up for consideration for airplay on Way FM. And we ask you, hey, which one do you want to hear more of? So we'll play a little snippet of the song, and we'll make our opinion or our judgment. Then we'll play the hook to see if it changes, and then you get to help us decide. So with that said, Lady Rock, what is the first song name?
This first song we're going to judge, it's called Nothing Sweeter.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Not to be confused with Nothing Sweeter.
See, now
It's
I've not
Nothing
heard this.
Sweeter.
I don't know the band. I would say that this could easily be a Kane song. It sounds like it would be a song they would write.
Ann Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's see. Here we go.
That sunset on those Tennessee hills got me counting a blessing or two.
Okay, now that surprised me because I know
was
exactly
male.
who that is, and it was not Kane. Okay, so I'm going to go out on the snap just because, I mean, okay.
But you have good hope for the hook.
I think it's going to go somewhere because I know this guy's music, and it always goes somewhere. But just based on that little hit, I'm like, okay, Tennessee Hills, pretty regional, pretty if I'm in California, I don't know. I'm not going to respond to that.
Too specific?
Yeah, too
for you?
specific for me, yeah. Betty Rock?
It hits me right in the feels because
Oh, yeah, you're a country girl.
I love the Tennessee Hills, and it makes you grateful to just be in the South, to be in the country, and to just see the roaming hills. It's beautiful.
And there's no G
God's
on
country.
there's no G on nothing, and so
Right.
that's
Nothing.
of course you love it.
Nothing sweeter.
Nothing sweeter. Okay, so when Gavin, where are you at?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It was country lyrically, but didn't sound country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little burnt out on country
that's
sound
true,
things.
yeah.
Amen.
So I'm ready.
All right, well here we go. This is the hook of Nothing Sweeter.
In the good times,
There it is.
hard times, fill my pockets full of sunshine. I see so much of the good stuff, but there ain't nothing sweeter than his love.
Oh, I didn't see that come in. I didn't see rhyming stuff with love vaguely. So yeah, that's a vibe. That made me, you kind of bite your bottom lip, you do your fists up like this, and you just kind of shoulder roll. Yeah, okay, so I'm in on that one. Nicely done there, sir. Betty Rock.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Great
Still
hook.
a bop.
Gavin.
I think it's a good roll down the window, put your
Yes.
hand out, do a little wave with your hand.
Yeah,
I
Yes.
like it.
weird, but yes.
Oh,
yeah.
his was weird, but yours was okay.
Mine was a dance.
Yours was an old man.
Could have been on
dance.
TikTok.
I think I've seen Biden do that dance.
All right, that is possibly the meanest thing you could have said to me. All right, so that's all in on the hook of that. That very rarely happens. That means it's a good song, but is there another one that's better? We'll find out in 10 minutes on Snap Judgment. Let's go with song number 2. What's it called?
This one is called Up and Up.
Okay, that's interesting. Like I could see are you on the up and up? I'm curious where it's going to go. I'm already intrigued by the title.
So while I'm in the in-between, I'ma live my life knowing.
I'ma live my life knowing. I'ma live
I
my
would
life
say it's not
honing.
upbeat.
No,
not.
So for a song that's called Up and Up.
Right. I felt like I was lied to.
I didn't want
right
that.
there. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
gonna live
I'm
my
out.
life nowhere.
I'm out.
Okay. I mean, it sounds kind of current-ish, so that's good, but I'm out too. Gavin?
Yeah,
Okay.
that didn't do it for me.
But you know what? Even with that, I feel like it has to go somewhere.
Oh, sure. Has to
Being
go up.
called Up and Up, so it's got to go somewhere. So here we go. This is the hook for Up and Up.
If I get down,
There
you
it is.
pick me up from the ground. You
Oh, yeah.
give me love and don't give out, giving no conditions.
Yes.
You lift me up and up again now.
Ooh.
No matter who surrounds, I let my heart
It's interesting because the first song we played and this song are very similar in vibe, I feel. Like so it really is judging apples to apples.
That is true, but I love it.
Yeah,
I think
so
it's
Betty, you're in.
great.
Gavin,
Fantastic.
you in?
Yeah, that was awesome. I
Yeah.
like that phrase, the lift me up. I
Yeah.
like that he put a different kind of spin on that in this song. I like it.
I like the lyrics. I like the melody
Yeah.
too, where it went and the high stuff.
Do you have
so-
any idea who it is?
I do. I
Yeah.
know
You do?
exactly
Oh,
who
okay,
it is.
okay.
Super clear.
Yeah. Well, I say that and then I'm usually wrong. But so we don't tell you who it is because
That
we don't
was
want
Zach
to.
Williams.
Right, exactly. That was only Zach Williams if you pulled his chest hair out and he was screaming higher than he's ever sang before. So there you go. Here are your two choices. Let me give you them both again. This is song number 1.
in the good times, through the hard times, fill my pockets full of sunshine.
And song number 2.
If I get down, you pick me up from the ground. You give me love and don't give out, giving
All of us in for both songs on the hook. That has not happened in years.
Right.
So really not a bad choice here today. You just have to tell us which one you like, which one connects with you in that short amount of time. 855-33-WAY-FM, 855-33-WAY-FM, and we really appreciate your help making a decision because this is a tough call today. Kathy, welcome to our Snap Judgment. Now, you've heard the hooks of the two songs up for consideration here. We've got song number 1, Nothing Sweeter, and song number 2, Up and Up. You have to tell us which of these songs you liked better. It kind of clicked with you, and you want to hear more of it on Way FM. So where are you going, song number 1 or song number 2?
Song number 2.
Song number 2. Okay, before we get to that, what was song number 1, Rock?
Yeah, the one you passed up on, that one was Nothing Sweeter by Toby Mac.
Not a bad song. Like I liked it. We all were in on that one.
It was not, yeah.
Okay, it was nice. But see, if it's just nice,
Right.
then maybe that doesn't land with you as much. So, Kathy, why did you go with song number 2, Up and Up?
Well, it was just like the melody was really upbeat, and it just was a reminder that God is always picking us up and up again and up again.
Very true. Kathy, do you have any guess as to who sang that song?
No, I don't. I really don't.
It's the one, the only American Idol alumni, Colton
Colton Dixon!
Oh, my gosh. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a great song for him. He always surprises me with stuff, too. Like, I don't see where he's going to go, and I really like that. And so here you go. You have determined that this is the song we are playing today for Snap Judgment as the winner. It's song number 2, Up and Up by Colton Dixon on Way FM.
Thanks.
Even though I walk through the valley, sometimes it feels like I crawl through the valley. But I got a promise that I hold on tight to. I can't lose when I'm right beside you. Yeah, gotta know the plans you have for me when my cup is overflowing.
Betty's love of crime shows has me concerned because I think that she's not learning how to protect herself, but rather how to set me up for a crime.
Oh, I for sure am.
It's a Gone Girl situation is what I'm thinking.
I'm glad I've got you right where I want you.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. You know, you need someone in your life that will set you up for success, not failure.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt with CCU. I mean, I felt intimidated considering going back to school as an adult after being out for so long, but I was set up for success with CCU from my first conversation all the way to graduation. Most classes are only 5 weeks long, which means you can earn your degree and still have time to do whatever you want.
Yeah, 5-week classes, that's even good for people with like ADHD. Like for
Like
me,
you.
I know I needed short classes so I could focus when I went back to school because Betty Rock and I kind of lived the same life.
Find out more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner.
things you didn't know you needed to know today. It's News-ish with Wally.
If you have been to see your doctor and are frustrated that they came in, saw you for 30 seconds, gave you some mild reassurance, and then quickly raced off to their next appointment, then you are going to possibly hate this. In a business that's become increasingly less personal, now there's a hospital that is doing, and I'm not making this up, hologram doctor visits.
Ooh.
You know, I understand your first reaction
Sure.
to this.
Okay,
I
go
get
ahead.
that. But
Talk
as
to me.
someone who works an odd job, I have a job where my schedule is kind of odd. Then I have a busy personal schedule afterwards.
Right.
Well, it's hard to get in on those normal 9 to 5 hours. So maybe if I had a hologram doctor that could just tell me what's wrong and why, great.
That'd be great. That'd be like telehealth, but that's not how this works. You still have to go to the doctor's office.
Oh.
He just doesn't have to show up, or she just doesn't have to show up.
So in essence, they can make more money.
Yeah.
They could actually be. They could be
Right.
in like Denver, Colorado, and then be telling me here in Nashville what's wrong with me.
Yeah, so what they've said is like
Interesting.
this one hospital that's doing this is they're like it's giving back doctors the most valuable thing they have, their time. Like what?
No.
Because they're very rushed and I know it's a tough job. I'm not going to
It
say it's
is,
not,
but
like
Our time is spent in the waiting room.
our time is important too, you
Yeah.
know. And so what they're saying is that it keeps a doctor from having to drive like from a hospital to the office to do doctor visits or vice versa or whatever, so they can have this
Okay.
hologram that gives you a life-size version of him on the screen.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And so
Like, does this
It's-
look infected to you?
exactly. It's like a 3D system that projects this hologram of the doctor so they can perform real-time consults. They can be recorded or they can actually do it in, like I said, real time. They say that they can engage with patients remotely. And I was trying to think about this. To me, it's just, again, doctors are already disconnected. And so, or that's our opinion, most of our opinion. So this to me seems like even worse. But like, what are some of the positives? Well, it could give you access to specialists that you couldn't travel to see
Oh, that's nice.
in the future. Like
That's
you could
true.
drive, like you would say, like they are in Denver. So maybe you got somebody at Johns Hopkins or Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
But then you would just have to go to your local doctor and go to their office, and then you could meet with a specialist. So that
Interesting.
could be actually really good.
Yeah.
Maybe you could be sent a recording of the visit so that you would actually remember what you talked about. Because how many times do you leave a doctor's office and go, wait, did they say take 4 pills in the morning or 8 pills all day? You know?
Rewind the tape.
Yeah, you just-
Rewind the doctor.
That's why I bring my wife with me, because she would ask me, what'd he say? And I'd be like, I don't know. And so she now goes so that she remembers what he said. And also, too, I think the biggest thing is it takes out that awkwardness when they knock on the door and you're waiting there for them to come in and you're like, what do you say? I'm always like, come in? Like, I'm like, it's kind of your place. I'm okay. Howdy. What do you, I mean, I never
Well,
know
what
what
are
to
they going to
say.
do with the hologram? They're going to be like, I am uploading now.
That's fine. It can make a sound, and make sure you get that gown covered. Am I weird because?
Yes.
That was that was my fault. I paused. I should have just went. Am I weird because here on the Wally Show? But that's on me. So, am I weird because there's a chance for you to find out if what you do is weird or if other people do the same things that you do. So I'll start with one and be vulnerable here before you.
Please
okay.
don't.
So I'm curious. We're leaving the house the other day. My wife tells me we had been shopping and then we were going to go back out for something else. And we're leaving the house and she tells me what store we're going to. And I'm like, oh, all right, wait a minute. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm changing my pants. And she's like, why are you changing your pants to go to this store? I'm like, because I bought a pair of pants from that store and I don't want to walk in with the same pair of pants that I literally just bought from that store earlier that day, so they think I've stolen them.
No.
Oh, I don't know if
Why
stolen is the
would
right
you
word.
think that they would think
I don't know.
that?
Because I'd walk in
You
and
think-
I'm wearing brand new, they still have the creases in them.
You think that the person making $13 an hour
Yes.
is going to look at you and be like, sir,
That's
I'm
true.
calling the cops.
That's true, because like normally, like you watch people do these smash and grabs and no one stops them. So yeah, I
Yeah.
probably could have just stole them. Why'd I pay?
But I understand that why you would think that's weird, and it is. is. It's weird, but I'm going to join you in the weird boat.
Oh, okay.
Because I have done this myself, especially when I've gone to like Target.
Yes.
Okay, there's a purse that I carry that I know that is from Target.
Yep.
But purses are harder to just exchange back
Sure.
and forth. So I just take the chance and I hope no one judges me.
Oh, you do?
I don't know. It's something about not feeling like I stole it. It's more about just judging me for being desperate.
Well, the other part of that is too, is like if I go to like Target, for example, and I've done this, and I'm wearing a shirt and I still see it on the rack.
Yeah, it's
then
kind of sad.
I'm like, oh,
You feel
man.
stupid.
Yeah, you're like, now everyone thinks, oh, he's wearing his Target shirt again. He loves that shirt.
He's
It's
back.
not that great, you know. So that is ours. Apparently, I am weird, but only a half weird from Betty. So 855-33-WAY-FM. Now, this is not where you judge me, okay? This is where we judge you. I want to be very clear about that. You share with us that thing that you think makes you weird, all right? Maybe you've been told it before. Maybe you just think, man, am I the only one that does this? You share that thing with us, and then maybe you'll find out that you're not alone, that we also do the same thing. And so that's what we do. It's Am I Weird Because? 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. What do you do?
When I start a book, once I see who the characters are, I have to go to the end to see how it ends. If I don't like the ending, I don't read it.
That's an interesting concept. I'm not a reader, but I get it because reading for me takes a long time. And so I don't want to read for months to read a book to then have it let me down. So reading the ending to then go back to say, oh, it's worth my time to invest in the rest of this.
Well, I do it just for pleasure. So if it's going to upset me if I don't like it, I'm not going to read it. Drives my friends crazy that I have to know how a movie ends and the books.
You've got to be the worst in a book club.
You know, Kathy, at first, I would put you in the weird category, but now that I've heard why you do it, it's making more sense to me, and I'm a book reader. It's something that now I'm considering I might do myself because there have been times where I have read a book and that was the ending, and I was like, are you kidding me? But don't you ever miss the element of surprise?
Oh, no. I hate surprises.
Okay. Does this play itself out in other areas, like your marriage? You're like, I really want to know how this thing ends.
Well, I'm a widow, so no.
Oh,
Way to go, Wally.
Oh, I'm
Way
so
to
sorry.
go.
Well,
It's fine. It's
Nice.
fine.
She knows how it ends.
Okay. Kathy, I
That's true.
apologize.
See, Kathy gets it.
I apologize.
It's okay.
Oh,
my
Kathy,
word.
well, we appreciate the fact that we can laugh together, and I am truly
And this
sorry.
is the first time I have been able to get a hold of y'all because I listen to you every day at work.
Oh, that's awesome. She's like, wasn't worth it. If I'd known the end of this, I wouldn't have kept calling.
Thanks.
What do you got?
When I eat a Pop-Tart, it has to be strawberry, and I toast it, but when I toast it, it has to be a little burnt.
Oh, that's Betty Rock style right there.
And then I add a slice of cheese to it.
What in the world?
Wait, how does cheese help with any flavor? What flavor are you eating?
Strawberry, don't knock it till you try it. But, and I'll go as far as to say I do that with glazed donuts as well.
I'm always amazed at like the first person to eat a chicken egg. Like, hey, we should eat this. You
This
know,
came out of a chicken.
right? Let's eat this.
The lower half of a
It
chicken.
fell out. It looks tasty. I'm curious, how did putting cheese on your Pop-Tart come about?
My great-grandmother did it, and
Okay.
I don't know. At some point, I tried it when I was little, and my absolute favorite is like that.
Well, I guess the Pop-Tart did not fall far from the tree, and that's where you got it.
You're definitely
That's
weird.
right. I've been told many times, so anyway, but that just confirms it.
Well, there you go. At least you can walk away here with your head high going, I know what I am.
That's right.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
So you might not believe it, but we have a podcast. Seems like everybody does these days. But if you like The Wally Show, just as it is, you might want to check this out because it is new content. We do it every day after the show, and it's stuff that didn't make this show. And sometimes we go a little bit deeper with things or things that need a little bit more fleshing out, or it's a place where we can share our shortcomings.
And you can always check it out when you text TWS to 91979, TWS, the letters, Motivators. That stands for The Wally Show to 91979.
So the other day we were talking about hang-ups, and not like I have a hang-up about this, but actually hanging up on people to make sure that they're hung up on before you say anything, just in case something that you would say following a meeting or something like that might hurt someone's feelings. So we talked about my absurd technique when it comes to that happening. We used to do phone call meetings all the time, and so I would make Betty pick up the hand receiver and hang it up like 4 or 5 times, and then I would say what I wanted to say in the meeting but couldn't.
And just recently, when you do Zoom calls and stuff, we'll do Zoom meetings, and sometimes they want us to have the camera on, and I have to remind Wally they can read your
my face
expression and read your lips. So just watch what you do, what you say, all those things.
Because I say funny things when we're muted, but then I also make faces like, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." So yes, all of that is true. And then, but then after the Zoom call, because you're not sure if it's hung up or not, you have to take your computer and run it underwater, and then you come back and you're like, "Okay, we're good."
Safe.
Then you can say what you want to say.
Well, first, then you need to smash it with a bulldozer and a hammer.
Sure. I wish there was a world that we didn't have to do that you could just not say the thing. Like, if that, in a perfect world, that would be amazing.
If you were just a kind person.
If that was really
if that was how God made him,
right?
Then he would.
100%. I would be down with that.
But it's not his choice.
Yeah. So as it stands now, we gotta flush our computers down the toilet after any of our Zoom meetings. All right, so if you identify with any of that, then you might want to check out the rest of our Aftercast. So just text the letters TWS for The Wally Show, TWS to 91979, and we will send you a link, and you can become a potty today for free.
With so much drama in the news,
I hate drama, so there you go.
You love drama.
I know I do, right?
this is a drama-free zone. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
What you got, Gavin?
I've heard from a lot of old people that...
Wally?
Probably.
Okay.
That if you're on time, you're late, and
Correct.
if you're early,
you're on time. Yeah.
And I can understand adhering to that sometimes.
Well, I mean, only if you want to be successful. Like if you choose in your life to say I'm not going to be successful at things, then absolutely follow anybody else's rules you want to. Yes.
Well, I actually did speak to a woman a little while ago. She actually explained that if she ever found herself running late to work, she would rather call in sick than be late. And then I asked, how many sick days have you taken recently? She's like, oh, none.
None, exactly.
So she likes to be 15 minutes early, but according to a survey, almost half of Generation Zers, of which I am barely, I'm on the cusp of, between the ages of 16 and 26, they believe that being 5 to 10 minutes late is essentially the same as being on time.
No, it is not. It's not even in the same ballpark of being on time.
Here's the difference, though. I think the older generation and the younger generation, they have different priorities. To them, their personal life is more of a priority, whereas for the boomers, the older generation, it's dying at your desk. Your work is your life. Your family can take a second.
You're painting that so negative on that one side. You're like, well, there's one side that they just want to enjoy life and they want to fulfill themselves, and then there's this other side that just wants to work. Like, you painted that so.
5 to 10 minutes. It's 5 to 10 minutes.
And it's a lie. You told me you were going to be here. You have lied to me. You have broken our contract, and you are not here on time.
Contract?
I will say that for me, at least, I do like to be on time to things. And if we're going to small group or something, and sorry to my wife, but if she's taking extra time to add the extra element or something, or to, like, if we forget something and we're late to that thing, I do feel guilty, especially to someone who may be hosting something.
Yes, exactly. It's just rude, honestly, And so here's the deal. If you
What's the deal?
This is the deal.
Here, tell us the deal.
If you, Grandpa, I know that was your next word. I'm just taking it from you.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you want to be successful in this world, whatever job you do, here is your key to success. Show up early or on time and do what you say you're going to do. right then and there, you are better than 99% of the people that you're going to encounter that day in your job.
Unless your boss is like a 25-year-old and all of a sudden they're like, you can show up whenever you want, bro.
Yeah, I could not function in that society. I would like to be on the opposite company that's going to kick the snot out of that company. Yeah, you guys ride your skateboards around the office while we're getting stuff done over here at Old Man Inc. So, the other day we had some people come by. We have this happen all the time, like people that listen to the show or the podcast, and they'll swing by and hang out for a few minutes, and I always love that. But at the end of this guy was leaving, he brought his family and Max, and they were super nice. And he goes, hey, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I emailed you before. And I'm like, oh, okay, what did we talk about? And he's like, I called you a wuss. I'm like, oh, I remember that email. And so a lot of times, like, I'll say I remember something, and people think, oh, he probably doesn't. He's probably just being nice. And I'm like, okay, you're not leaving. Come here. Mm-hmm. And I went back to my computer. I brought them into the office, and I was able to pull up his email like that. And it was in a file called Best of the Best.
Yeah. And so this led to a conversation later where I asked Wally, why in the world, because this is something I would never do.
Right.
Why in the world would you keep a folder for emails that call you a wuss?
Yeah.
That are people that are saying negative things about you. Why would you keep those around?
And I would love to have a good answer for you, other than I just thought it was awesome. I thought it was honest, and I like that. And so I have a crazy folder. You don't want to be in that folder. That means you are just off the rails. So I have a crazy folder, and I have a best of the best. And so this one made it in there. It's funny because he says, my wife and this was the email. And the fact that I could pull it up from 21 is when I got this.
Wow.
My wife and kids have been fans for years. I'm gaining respect.
Oh my goodness.
I don't get it.
In line with the no apologies conversation, I'll be honest, you always have irritated me, and I found you to be a wuss because you would touch on issues, but you'd never just punch it through. And you always had a good starting point, but you left it kind of open-ended, like I wasn't like spiritual enough or whatever. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I love that this family came in, and we have this great time with them. I'm glad he saved this conversation till the end. Actually, I wish he wouldn't, because they were on the podcast. I would have talked about this. Which, by the way, you can get our podcast for free if you text the word TWS. It didn't bother me. And I just thought it was so funny. I've held on to it. I held on to some weird emails.
Yeah, and eventually it came out later. You know, I like to do psychology on Wally.
Sure.
And he said, for some reason, oddly, it motivates me.
Yeah.
And so, that would not be a motivator. That would be a demotivator.
Right.
But for you, someone calling you a wuss and telling you you're doing terrible at your job, you're like, yeah!
Nailed it! All right, so here's what I'm curious about. What was that odd motivator? Maybe it started off as like a demotivator, but man, you internalized that and you're like, I'm doing this, and it fired you up. Maybe someone said, you cannot start your own business. And you're like, okay, challenge accepted. I will, and I will be crazy successful. Or somebody told you couldn't do something. You know, I had a high school guidance counselor that told me college was not for me. He's like, oh,
boy, was he right.
No, he was wrong. He was like, you'll fail. You won't, be able to do this. I graduated magna cum laude in college, and then graduated with a 4.0 in my master's. So yeah, I could do it. I just didn't want to do it at the time. I
just chose not to.
Yeah, I mean, now granted, he was only working with the horrible information he had of me, a high school me, which I was not a great student. So I don't blame him. But it motivated me to later go on and be successful.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about with you. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. Have you ever had something that maybe was a demotivator for some, but you used it as rocket fuel?
Yes. I was car shopping, and I saw this little car that I just fell in love with. Keep in mind, this is the late 80s. I was somewhere around 20 years old, and the guy that owned the car lot told me that I couldn't buy that car. And I was like, why not? He said, because you can't drive it. You're a girl. I said, excuse me?
What?
It was a manual transmission car, so he just flat out told me I couldn't buy it, I couldn't drive it, I was a girl. And I was like, oh, you just sit back and watch.
Yes.
I bought that car.
Stalled it the first time you tried to go, didn't you?
It doesn't matter.
Everybody
stalls when they learn.
20 times.
That's okay, though. That's okay, Dina. You taught him a valuable lesson, and I, as a fellow woman, appreciate you. Way to go.
I would have loved to see her drive off the lot like, yes, sir, I can't.
I would have been over there going, you know what? Third time's a charm. Keep going.
Amy, what was that demotivator that you used to actually motivate yourself?
Well, my husband and I were in marital counseling with our pastor, and we were too complicated, so he passed us on to a Christian counselor who, within a couple months, told us we should just get divorced.
Oh.
And that motivated us to work on our marriage, and we've been married 33 years.
That is so funny. Sometimes when you have a common enemy, like you bond together, you're like, no, we're going to prove this guy wrong. Yeah, that's right. You and me, babe. How far into your marriage did this happen?
About 10 years.
Okay, so you got 23 years after that from that session. That's amazing. I'm curious if this counselor was actually a genius because he knows that and that's a technique.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was reverse psychology.
Maybe it was. Either he's great at his job and he's the world's best counselor, or he's the world's worst. We just don't know.
But my pastor also told another couple later that passed it on to us that their motivation was, if Mark and Amy can make it, anyone can make it.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Well,
wow.
Something to be proud of, I guess.
And now for some good news.
Uplifting YFM, this here is the Wally Show, and it is time for a little good news. Giddy up. That is
was a lot.
A little bit of good news amidst all the bad news, because it can be a little bit of a bummer. So we like to find some stuff that feels good. So with that said, Gavin, good news, giddy up, go.
A 143-year-old church caught fire near Philadelphia, Philly, on Monday, and could have been a total loss. But when it happened, nearly every member of a fire department a mile away happened to be at the station for a weekly meeting. Woo, yay, meetings. So they got there in less than 3 minutes, and they saved the church.
Yeah, all the meetings we have never saved anybody.
No.
Well, I say that, like, we the religious stuff, the Christian stuff we talk about. Yeah,
but
that
not from
works.
a fire.
Yeah, but not from a fire. No, that's great that everybody had to be there, and then they're all like, well, let's go do something. That's how bad they all wanted to get out of that meeting, was like, let's get to that fire, like, lickety-split. Let me see. Good news, giddy up from me. There was a 12-year-old, speaking of saving things, in Rhode Island that saved a classmate from drowning during a field trip this month. Wow. Both his parents are first responders with his local fire department, so it kind of runs in the family. But he was super humble about it. He's like, anyone could have done what he did when he was asked. Yeah, like that's what you want your first responders. Now, us amateur first responders, we want the credit. Yeah.
We will toot our own horn.
100%.
Toot, 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 toot.
100%. So we leave the humbleness to the real first responders. Betty Rock, good news, giddy up, go.
There's a sweet story about this guy that he had 2 lawn chairs sitting in his front yard, and these 2 little old ladies walked by his place, and they just decided to sit down in these chairs and have a little chat. And they didn't even ask permission. They just did it.
I think that's the thing. When you get to a certain age, any chair is fair game. Like, it doesn't matter where it is. Like, you're like, oh, that must be for me.
Maybe so. And in this world, we hear so much negativity about, like, people are being, get off my lawn.
Right.
But instead, this guy brought both of these women a cup of tea and told them to stay for as long as they wanted.
Nice. There you go. Some goodness in the world, and that's why we do Good News Giddy Up.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Attention, please. Uplifting Way FM. Celebrities are just like you and me, except for the mansions, tigers, and sequins. It's the Rock Report with Betty Rock.
It's no surprise that when you have prestigious relatives, you're more likely to find yourself surrounded by other like-minded people and their relatives, which, when you're looking for a potential person to date, that can come in pretty handy. Just recently, it was announced that Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft and a billionaire,
And not the best looking dude.
well, his daughter,
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
I know. I don't know how that happened.
His daughter is dating the grandson of the legendary Beatles member Paul McCartney.
Oh, really? Sir Paul, really?
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people can say, I am dating the grandson of one of the Beatles members.
Yeah. I mean, when you run in those circles, like that, those are the people you tend to meet. Like, a fairy tale that seems improbable is Travis Kelce meeting Taylor Swift.
Because she's on a whole nother, even though he's famous, she's on the
different
next
stratosphere.
tier.
Yeah, like he's in his I'm Desperate era, and it worked out for
Okay,
him.
moving on. And when you dive further into this, you find there are other couples that were able to meet thanks to their family ties. Stranger Things actress Millie Bobby
Yeah.
Brown. She's engaged to John Bon Jovi's oldest son.
Yeah, I got into a big debate with my wife about this the other day, that they were engaged. She said, no, I don't think that's it. I'm like, what makes you think that's not it? Just out of curiosity. Because I said that was it? You know, no, I don't think that's it. I said, I swear to you. And then I'm like, and I'll go one step further. They got engaged, and he dropped the ring because they were doing it underwater. Oh, that does not sound probable at all. Again, why do you say that doesn't sound probable? Because I've just said it? I'm like, honey, we talk about this stuff on the show.
Yeah.
We've done stories on this. Why do you not believe me?
I don't know. And then finally, Robert Irwin. He is the son of the late crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. And man, okay, just to put, well, wait, let me just say.
Okay, you sound flustered.
Sorry. So Robert Irwin, the son of the crocodile hunter, is dating the niece of the late Heath Ledger. So he played the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, all that to say, I did pull some audio of Steve Irwin, but instead, I would like for you to hear Gavin's.
Oh, no.
He kills
What
it.
does he do?
He sounds just like Steve
Brad, to
Irwin,
think
and he
of-
was doing it
no,
off
no,
the
no,
air.
I
earlier.
Okay,
Do it,
well,
do
let me-
it. Talk about his children.
I'm on
do
the
it,
spot.
Gavin.
Do you
It's so
do you need to hear Steve Irwin
No,
first to get you in the zone?
I feel like I can do it.
Do you need someone to say crikey?
No.
Okay.
Listen, with my kids, when they grow up, I'm going to want them to I'm going to pass on what I love to do to my kids.
That is not bad. Yeah.
I tried to do it, and he said I sounded crazy. I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, my kids, I want to pass it down."
No,
to them."
No, that's
I
not
can't
good at
do
all.
it.
Well, Gavin,
Terrible.
we just learned another
Right?
skill for you.
Well done.
That was worth doing the rock report today just for that.
Wait, what?
I'm just in general. What I mean.
I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
Navigating the world of dating and love in general can be very difficult. Hey, it's the Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM, and I know Betty Rock is a single girl. It's a weird world, and I'm just curious, okay? Because I found this thing of what women really want from a guy on a date, okay? And so I'm curious if these make you, like, if they would make your list, or if you have other ones that didn't, okay? So. Number 3 was making sure I get home safe. Thought that might be number 1. But not the most important thing.
I think because we don't.
But now you take separate cars now.
Yeah, and you also have friends that know your location. Like you can share your location and all that. So you really aren't depending on the guy. Maybe you don't even want to depend on the guy to see if you made it home.
Like if I was a girl, even if I was a guy dating, I would definitely want my own car. When we do meetings or we do things like that, I always want my own car so I can bail. Like I want an exit strategy. Number 2, put your phone away. Like, don't be on your phone.
Yeah, that should be common sense. See, this is what we're finding out. Women set the bar super low.
Yeah.
Because you guys are horrible.
Okay.
Yes. Give sincere compliments. But this is tricky. Compliments is rough. Hey, you have really nice eyes. Hey, pal, this is the first date.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Yeah. Like,
and
what
gift?
what is acceptable as a compliment, Lady Rock?
Nice dress.
I've been super excited to meet you. I've been looking forward to this.
Okay.
Or,
So nothing physical.
No, that's
Okay.
just creepy.
Really?
Like even like, oh, I really like your dress.
What if
I mean, that's okay.
you
Yeah.
look beautiful tonight?
Yeah. Ooh,
You're like, hey, stalker,
It's
go
the
away.
first. It's the first.
What
in the
I
world?
don't know. I'd get a little. Maybe it's all my watching of crime
Sure,
shows or listening to crime podcasts.
Like with Betty as a friend, and because you get weird workplace things as a friend, like I'll tell Betty, like if she's wearing something that looks good on her, I say, oh, I like your outfit today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say, oh, that looks really good on you, or you're hot, or whatever. I just say, yeah, exactly. That's why.
So what if we came in like you had parted your hair in the middle? Oh, I like this hairstyle.
It's super sweet.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
like, yeah, that's. We said, oh, you got a really 70s hairstyle vibe. We like it.
Years of knowing you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is some history there in that
Sure.
relationship. If I'm just now meeting a guy for the very first time and that's what he starts off with, I'm like, okay. So looks matter more than anything. to
Really,
you?
that you internalize
No,
it
thank
that
you.
fast? Okay, because he's if you're already mad about that, he's checking off personality. You're like,
Okay, I'm not the one that is being judged here. When did I get under the microscope?
I'm the victim. All right, so here we go. 855-33-WAY-FM. If you are a lady of the lady persuasion, we'd love to get your thoughts on this because you might be helping guys out who don't know what is acceptable or not anymore on a date, especially like a first date. What are you looking for as a woman? What do you want? Now, maybe you are like Betty and you haven't been married before and you're dating, or maybe you are, found yourself newly single and you're like, this is a weird world. What is it that you want on a first date that you would help guys out? Okay, so 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. I'm excited to hear what you say, honestly. Not because I need it, because I'm trapped, married, married. I don't know, trapped, stuck. I don't know what I am. But no, I'm just interested to hear what your perception is. Chrissy, what would you expect from somebody on a first date?
The biggest thing that would be attractive is coming in planned and prepared. So going that extra step of saying, I already made the reservations, including a touch of thoughtfulness, whether it be bringing flowers, or maybe she mentioned she liked to do something, a certain kind of activity, and you incorporated that into the date. I don't think that men realize how attractive it is to come in and be intentional.
Chrissy, I agree with you to a degree. So I think it's great that a guy has a plan and he's prepared, but I don't want it to come across as too controlling. Like, for instance,
See, this is where we can't win.
Listen to me.
I will.
That might be a you problem, my dear.
Yes, that is your problem, my dear.
No, Chrissy, listen to me. I went on a first date once with a guy, and I loved it. He said, hey, I've got this place in mind that I want us to go to. Great. He's got a plan in mind. He's got a table reserved. We're going to go. Then he goes and orders for me.
Okay, that's weird.
Okay, that to me
that's
was
too
too...
far. I'm withdrawing. That's too far. Betty, if he had just made the reservation but not ordered for you, would that have been chef's kiss?
Chef's kiss,
Yeah.
for sure. But when he started ordering for me, I think what I'm trying to say is have a plan and be prepared, but don't be prepared to order for me.
Right. Okay. So that was a red flag. You're like, that is a
Yeah.
controlling thing. What if he's like, hey, I know it's a first date. We're going to go out to this isolated place in the woods and go hiking. It's about 12 miles outside of the city. It's so quiet. You can't even hear anyone scream. It's amazing. Are you in? He looks like Mike Rowe.
Oh, well.
Worth the risk.
Okay, I'm going to try it out. It's worth the risk for sure.
So what do you think is good for a first date for a guy to do?
I think the best thing for a guy to do on the first date is not try to impress me. Don't be bragging about your money or whatever. Just be yourself. I think I want to know who he is, and I want him to want to know me.
Yeah, because I think it speaks of character. He has courage in the fact of he's okay with who he is as an individual, and he's not so insecure in the fact that he's got to brag about himself and have other people speak into
Let
him.
me ask you both this, Betty Rock and Grace. What is the proper way then for him to let you know that he arrived to the date in a Corvette?
I don't think there's a good way to put that.
Like, how do you work that into casual conversation?
You're just not gonna.
Yeah, well, see, I'm there to date you, not raise you.
Okay.
Yes. Amen and amen. Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.